So I know, obviously, a unique situation here in the fall. You kind of said it to the guys just about a week ago. Got to take advantage. You got 15 practices. Overall, I know it's just week one, but how have the attitudes of just everybody been on your side of the offensive side?
Really good. I think the guys are just happy to be out here and have the opportunity to get back around football. It's been a unique situation, like you said, but the guys are adjusting and doing a great job and not making excuses for anything. It is what it is right now, but we're out here playing football and we're about to put pads on Saturday. And I think the guys have attacked everything we've done over the past 5 weeks to put them in a great position to be ready for fall ball and really starting on Saturday with the pads. So. Doing well.
Even though this is your first week of quote-unquote practice, you guys have been together already a decent amount on the field in the fall. What's been the most encouraging thing to this point?
I think the amount of detail that you're able to get into with each position group and a unit as a whole has been absolutely outstanding in terms of learning the game of football from all levels, in terms of what the offensive line's seeing, how they're in tune with everything, our quarterback play along with the pass game. I mean, we broke it down in terms of, teach with everything, with all the non-padded stuff and non-contact stuff early on, maybe 6 weeks ago. You start to get into a little bit more contact versus bag holders, whatever it is. And the guys have taken an amazing, amount of, knowledge, bringing it into understanding why things are happening, why they're doing what they're doing, how they're doing it. But the attention to detail and technique and the fundamentals have been a huge thing for us that we've focused on across the board as a unit, and I've been really happy with it.
What are the biggest things you try to break up the redundancy, where this time of year where, there's only been a certain amount of things you guys can do, but to make sure that every day really is fresh and new and the guys can attack it and not get into that mindset of, well, this is pretty redundant, we've done this over and over.
Don't let yourself think it's redundant too. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course you got to mix it up, but it might seem boring, it might seem redundant, but that's where you get really good. That's where we've done the same thing over and over again for weeks now, and our guys are getting really good at what they're doing. While that can be a little bit tough at times, but that's where these guys have done a good job of attacking, and still getting everything out of it. Still mixing it up, though, in terms of group periods versus individual versus full offense and those sort of things. But I know for sure in terms of the redundancy a little bit, they're excited to go versus the defense with football pads on Saturday. So the guys are definitely excited for that.
In the 7-on-7 periods that you've been able to have so far here in the first week, again, not a ton of those one-on-one chances for guys, but specifically in the quarterback room, what has been impressive with Coach Castle and that group?
I think as Coach Castle's come in, he's done a really good job. It's going to come back to it again, the attention to detail that we've been able to focus on over the past 6 weeks or so. These quarterbacks are seeing the whole picture. They're not locked into one concept, one side of the field. It's a whole field read, whole progression read, and I've been really excited to see what those guys have done in one practice. Obviously, watch the film from today, but I think that those guys are really buying into understanding the entire concept, understanding the defenses like we had talked about earlier in these first 6 weeks. But I've been really pleased in terms of overall the understanding of the game and broadening their football IQ and not just seeing it in terms of tunnel vision, but trying to see the whole picture. And I think Coach Castle's really done a nice job of setting those guys up.
Up front, you had a group a year ago that was so experienced. You really didn't have to get those guys ready for a game from the standpoint of knowing what to expect because they had so many snaps. You do get Big Tuna back. You have Jose, who's played a lot of snaps. You still have guys who have experience. But overall, what do you think will be the biggest strength of the guys that you have up front?
I mean, last year you had experience, but you still got experience coming back after last year. I know that's the common theme. We had 5 redshirt seniors. Well, we still got a lot of guys who play a lot of football. You got Isaiah, who's coming back, who's been a starter for 2 years, cut short due to injury. He's taking his game to the next level. He's down weight. He's doing a good job. You got Jose Vasquez, who played some of his best football towards the end of the season last year, started 6 or 7 games for us, and probably was one of our better offensive linemen at the end of the season. Same goes for Carter Heron at the tackle spot, coming in and competing. And then Alvin Clemens got a ton of reps as a tight end and being ready as a backup center as well. So those guys have plenty of experience. Fred Fabricius has started games for us. He's in the mix. And I think that people kind of lose sight of that as well. But, there is a little bit of a drop-off in terms of those next guys. All those guys I just mentioned were backups to start the season, and then they end up starting at some point. But what we need to continue to do, just as we always have, is develop the guys behind them. Develop guys at every position and make sure that they're ready to go. But I think this group is hungry. And I think that they've really attacked everything in terms of, you said being a unique situation. We weren't going in pads for a long time, couldn't even hit a bag holder. What do you do as an offensive lineman? Once again, it's about focusing on those small things, those techniques that can make us better. So,
when you ultimately get to the spring and teams turn on Indiana State and they watch you offensively, what's the biggest thing you want to go, wow, that's where we made the biggest jump? This is the biggest thing we wanted to really work on now, to where you see the difference come the spring?
I want to say the pass game. I think that we did some things within the run game last year, especially towards the end of the season with Dom Daphne and Michael Hoppert, and having those sort of packages. I think we were efficient last year as a pass offense, but hit some explosive plays towards the end of the season as well. But being consistent within the pass game, where we're a nice complement to the run game. Teams are going to take away the run traditionally first, and that's where we're going to start first. We've got to have that answer in each and every game going forward. And obviously that's the whole group, that's the line protecting, that's everything. But, I really believe that we are going to continue to progress that pass game. But that's what I'm excited about most in terms of, where we'll start here in fall ball, where we'll end, and where we'll start in terms of January, getting ready for those first games in the spring.